Okay, this is a special project we're going to be giving. It's the trust log. In this case, it's going to be January of 2014. 2014. And what we're going to do is for the next 30 days, roughly from about January 8th to February 8th, every day at the end of your shift, you're going to log these numbers. You're going to put in what is the bookings log balance, the wave balance for what is our cumulative reimbursables for that month, for the month of January so far this month in January. And then over here, you're going to be putting in our PayPal balance, what it shows on our PayPal balance, what it shows in Wells Fargo, and what our trust credit card is. What that does, it gives you two numbers. Over here, you have the what's called the adjusted balance for the bookings log. That's how much money we technically should have in our bank account. And then over here, we have how much money is actually in our bank account when we factor out the credit card transactions and we factor in the PayPal money. Okay, so that tells us what the difference is. So this is how much is missing technically from our account. I want to show you real quick though what this is. First of all, what's called our book balance. Okay, it's the bookings log balance. If you go to the bookings log to one of these green transactions, what it does is it takes the amount of money that has come in, and you can see it here, it's all put in. The amount of money in column N, that's how much money we've collected from the guest. If we've collected the money from the guest, that money goes into our trust account. Now it sits there until we pay the owners or until we pay Lavish Getaways or unless it's used on some kind of a reimbursable expense. Okay, so those are the three ways the money goes out of the trust account. It either goes out to the owner, it goes out to the operating account, or it goes out in a reimbursable expense. So, with that in mind, if I put in $1 in this column, it'll show up $1 in there. But then if I put $1 as paid to the owner, then it shows nothing in there. And if I paid $1 out of the trust account to us, it shows a negative $1 because I actually collected $1, but then I paid $2 out of it, so there's a negative in there. So no matter what number, just as long as these numbers are accurate, this number should also be accurate. Okay? So, what we're going to do is just keep that in mind, okay? That's what that does. Now, there is one exception. If we had received $50, but then we paid $50 for a new air conditioner, the air conditioner comes out of the trust account. That is why we have this column. This shows the cumulative amount of total reimbursables for the month, okay? So if tomorrow we had another $100, it would be $392, and then if there were another $100, it'd be $492. So it's like a running total just for this month, just for the month January 1st to January 31st. Okay, but first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. On the bookings log, to get this number, all you do is you come here and you drag all of the bookings in the green column all the way up to the top, and that gives you the sum of every deal, basically. How much money should be in our bank account for every deal. And there it is, 185, 181. I don't put in the cents. 185, 181, that's close enough. And then for cumulative reimbursables for the month, all I do is I go to Wave, I go to the trust account, I go to transactions, and then I put in the dates from January 1st to, the end of the month or today or whatever. Just so that it covers all of January. And then I just select the reimbursable expenses category. Okay? And then that shows all of the reimbursable expenses. I add these numbers up, and then that gives me the number that goes into this column right here. Okay? Once I have those two numbers, what it does is it takes this number, it subtracts that from it, and it gives me this what's called our adjusted log balance. Now we're going to go to the other side. These numbers add up to that number. So first of all, the PayPal balance, you just log into PayPal, you look at the number, and you put that number in. You then, for the Wells Fargo balance, you're going to go into the trust account. Just go to trust, go to dashboard. Okay. And you just put in that number right there. That's all you do. Wells Fargo Trust balance right there. And then for the credit card balance, you put in that number right there. And that goes right here. Okay? So once you've put in all those numbers, these numbers will automatically populate. Now, obviously, the next day you'd have to drag these numbers down to the next one, but we're not there yet. So that is how you enter in these numbers. You just do that every day. Now, what we're looking for is how big is the. We don't care that we're missing $58,000. What we care is, are we going to be missing $58,000 tomorrow? If that number, now sometimes that number might jump around a little bit. Okay, if it goes up 5,000, I'm probably not too concerned about it from one day to the next. But if it starts going up 10,000, 20,000, that's why I have this plus or minus 10,000. If it's not varying very much, that's not a big deal. Okay, if it goes up one day, it goes down a little bit, the number's never going to be perfect. But we want it to stay within about a 10,000, 5,000 above, 5,000 below range. Otherwise, something's happening. Something weird's going on. So you can look at what's happening every day, try and figure out what's going on, and then just enter some notes in. That's all you got to do. I don't want you to sit there and spend hours trying to figure out exactly what's going on, because what will happen is if we do this over 30 days, it'll eventually become apparent what's going on. So every day that there's a switch, I want you to, where it goes up more than 5,000 or less than, goes down more than 5,000. I'm going to put 5K in here. I want you to look at what happened and why you think that these numbers are not staying stable, why the difference is growing or shrinking or whatever. Okay? So, yeah, that's pretty much it. You're just going to be tracking the difference from day to day and finding out why did that difference happen. Did something in the bookings log change? Remember, this number right here, the green number, is affected entirely by what you put in these columns. And what you put in these columns should match what is in Wave. So technically, if we get an extra $5,000, if we get an extra $1,000 in Wave, so it's 125,171.97. Okay, we got an extra $1,000 in Wave. We should get 186,181. There should be a corresponding change. Whoops. 186,181. Okay, then if everything else stayed the exact same, there were no changes in any of the other balances, watch what'll happen. Okay, everything else stayed the same, and then when I do this, the next day, it's the exact same number. There was no change because we got $1,000 extra in Wave. We recorded it in here on the bookings log. Okay, $1,000 extra in Wave. That popped up right there, so when I drag the whole thing, it'll add $1,000 to that. See, 186, 181. So that is kind of the, so that's why those numbers should match. If they're not matching, if there's a bunch of changes, something's happening. And we got to figure out what's throwing the numbers off. And if you have any ideas of what's throwing it off, make notes in the notes column. Okay? That is pretty much it. You can start tomorrow on the 9th and just every day, just go ahead and do it. Obviously on the weekends when you're not working, you don't have to. But any day that you work, at the end of your shift, go ahead and record these numbers. If you notice any huge jumps, you might even email me and let me know that there was a big jump and we can discuss it. Okay? Alrighty. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.